Good evening and welcome everybody. Thank you very much for the follows, the likes, subscribes. It's been really, like I said in the previous episode, it's been really heartwarming to see. So I thank you for the very early support while this is still very much in its infancy. Been a little bit longer getting to do this episode than I wanted to be honest. A few days behind, which is just typical. Life's just intervened as usual. This is Season 1, Episode 3. It's called Witch. I gave this episode a 4 out of 5 when I rewatched it back in 2015. So it's going to be interesting to go back on this one. This is, like I say, this is the third episode of the first series. It was written by Dana Reston. So it's the first of the Season 1 episodes not to be penned by Joss. It is a little bit uneven. So, yeah, we'll dissect that. And we'll just get straight into it then.
This is madness. What can you have been thinking? You are the Slayer. Lives depend upon you. I make allowances for your youth, but I expect a certain amount of responsibility, and instead of which you enslave yourself to this cult.
You don't like the color?
You were chosen to destroy vampires, not to wave pom-poms at people.
Buffy is adorable here. It's like I've said before, it's this early season 1 innocence that I really love about the first season.
Sense, if such a creature exists.
I will still have time to fight the forces of evil, okay? I just want to have a life. I want to do something normal.
Do you all like a bit of 2 Unlimited? Very popular in the UK in the early 90s.
Didn't approve, huh? He totally lost his water. We haven't seen a vampire in over a week. Let's begin with Amber Grove. If you're not auditioning, move off the floor.
Amy, hi. Hi.
Welcome, Amy.
I didn't know you wanted to be a cheerleader.
That girl's on fire!
Enough for the hyperbole.
It's okay, you're gonna be okay. I've been slaying vampires for more than a year now, and I have
So interestingly, this is the first the first episode that departures away from the whole sort of vampire slaying thing, and I think it doesn't actually have a vampire in it at all in this episode, which for the third episode of the first season was actually quite a departure. And I remember this episode taking quite a few of us by surprise, thinking, for a show that's got the Vampire Slayer in the title, how quick it was to deal with other issues and things like that. So it was actually in many ways quite welcome, because it made you realise how expanded the world was going to be already at this early stage.
Pardon me for finding the glass half full.
Any common denominators in cases of spontaneous combustion?
Rage. In most cases, the person who combusted was terribly angry or upset.
I just don't like putting you guys in danger.
Oh, I laugh in the face of danger. Then I hide until it goes away.
Okay, just walk softly, at least until we know a little more.
Even though it's not Joss, it's still quite quotable in places. I mean, I know at this stage Joss was still very hands-on with most of the script, so I think he probably would have reworked a lot of the dialogue. I wouldn't be surprised if, most of the bits we're sort of chuckling to are, directly from his pen. So this is Amy Madison. She is played by Elizabeth Ann Allen, and no one really knew at the time, but although she's not in the show a great deal, she's one of the recurring stars that we'll still be seeing in season 7.
You saw that, right? Right?
But Amy's nice. We used to hang in junior high. When her mom would go on a broth kick, Amy'd come over to my house and we'd stuff ourselves with brownies.
Hey, any word on Amber?
It's interesting that Willow talks about their relationship, knowing how bad it's going to get later.
Regular smoking, with a cigarette, not like being smoky.
If your supreme klutziness out there today takes me out of the running, you're gonna be so very beyond sorry. Have a nice day.
Wow. Forgot how intense they made Cordelia just there.
Buffy about Amber out.
I mean, I would say it's more misdirection to try and make you think she's behind what's going on, but
So I'm just a figure of fun. Oh, hey, they're posting the list.
so, I do think you can tell this episode lacks a little bit of punch and sparkle that the previous two had.
It's going in.
But it's still very watchable.
You're lucky.
I made it?
Oh,
I made it.
It's interesting now, obviously this is the show's first attempt at depicting a witch, and they couldn't get any more stereotyped with the cauldron and the what would you call it, the effigies and things like that. They do certainly streamline and make cool you know, the whole witchcraft angle and appearance and look of it as the shows go on, and it's definitely for the better, because this is quite comical in terms of just yeah, just how cliched it is. You almost wonder where is the broomstick.
Maybe you should think about joining the yearbook staff. I did it. It was a lot of fun. Not really my tip, Mom.
So the Summers house we see here is actually the house on location at Torrance, where the show was filmed. So the high school was filmed at Torrance High School, and this is it's only about 2 or 3 blocks away. And
This just in. I'm not you.
yeah, this season it is still the actual house, and they actually built a full scale replica as a set for the second series. It's quite interesting to see it because it is subtly different in places.
Buffy, would you like to...
Is that even Cordelia's locker?
Huh? Oh, I don't know. What I'm saying is accompany me Friday night.
I have to, we can pick this up later. You don't mind, do you?
Oh, that's funny. That's a good one. Do they not have dual control cars for the instructors in America? What was that van guy doing?
God, I can't see anything. Oh God, what's happening?
It like full on takes the door out as well. It's absolute maniac.
Witchcraft. Blinding your enemy to disorient and disable them it's a classic.
Amy.
So you guys are leaning towards Amy.
She's desperate to get on that team. I've got this feeling she'd do just about anything to make her mom's dream come true.
Let me make sure I have this right. This witch is casting horrible and disfiguring spells so that she can become a cheerleader?
Sean, can you tell me why these chemicals have this reaction? Sean? Are you? Oh my God.
The twist is pretty neat in this episode, it must be said. And it's really well disguised.
Another productive day in front of the TV.